Hey, and welcome to the studio. For today's project, I'm going to show you real quickly how to make this sweet little cracker that you can use for Christmas or any other gift-giving occasion where you want to give a little gift. You can tuck something small and fun in the body of the cracker here. Here's a sample of a slightly larger one, and you can even make one a bit larger to store something even bigger. And this can be for Christmas or for any other time that you want to have a fun way to tuck away a little gift. So I'm going to make one just like this, and it's super easy. I'm going to start with the Winter Frost Designer Series paper stack, and I've got 4 options for patterns. And today I thought I would use, oops, that's me dropping my paper stack. I'm going to use this lovely piece, and I am going to begin by trimming it to the correct size. So let me get my trimmer. Okay, so what I'm going to need to do is snip off the writing there, and it's going to need to be 4.5 by 6 inches long. And so I can do that pretty easily. I'm going to line it up with the 6 here, and there we go. I've gotten rid of most of the writing, and now it's the correct length. Now it's time to score. And what I recommend you do is just get rid of your cutting blade, put it at an end where you won't be tempted to use it so that you don't accidentally cut your project. So I'm going to turn it actually and score on the short side. And I'm going to stop right here and say that all of these lovely directions came from a blogger named Crafty Hallett out of the UK. And she just made this so easy to follow and do. And I'm absolutely triumphant that I'm going to get to present these to friends this year. So I'm going to do 2 things. I'm going to make a very small little tab that will be adhered to the inside. It's what we're going to use to hold all of this together. And so I'm going to line up. Do you notice that this is the edge that does not have the writing? The writing, the little Stampin' Up writing, which, lovely, yes it is, I don't want in my project, is actually going to be inside. We won't see it. And so that's going to be away from my measurement here. So I'm going to line up this edge first with 4-inch mark here and score that. And I'm using Designer Series paper, so I don't have to have too hefty of a hand at this. And then I'm going to score with my scoring blade at 3 inches and at 2 inches. And I'm going to sneak this down to the 1-inch mark. Okay, so I have 1, 2, 3, 4 little score lines on my Designer Series paper here. Now I'm going to turn it the long way, and I need to score it at 3 different places, and I found the easiest way for me to do this is if I start from the outside and work that way. So here is the first measurement. It's 1 3/4, so I'm going to score, and then I'm going to score at 1.5 inches, and then 1 1/4 inches. I'm just moving this ever so slightly. And let me show you, I have 3 very close together little score lines right there. I'm going to flip this over so I get the other end here and do it again. I'm going to start at 1 3/4, score, and then 1.5 score, and 1 1/4 and score. Okay, so now I'm finished with my trimmer, so I'm going to set that aside and get out the star of the show, and that is the envelope punch board. And this is going to be a really fun tool to use. So in this case, with this particular project, I need to line the punch up at the 1.5 inch mark, which I'm going to use the little tool here to show you. The 1.5 inch mark is right here. Okay, so I'm going to line up my paper, the edge of my paper, and you'll notice I've got the long edge fed up against the board here, against that 1/2 inch mark, and it's actually 1.5 inches, and I'm going to punch. Okay, and then I'm actually going to fold along that first score line, feed it in, and punch again at 1.5. Fold. And one of the things that Crafty Hallett said in her video was, if you are going to use cardstock for this project, not Designer Series paper, but actual cardstock, that you need to be sure that you can punch it without breaking your punch, and that you've got cardstock that is of a light enough weight that you won't wreck your project or your punch board. So she said before you go to all the trouble of trimming and scoring, you might want to test it to see. So you'll notice there I made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 punches. I'm going to flip this over and do the very same thing again, lining it up again to the 1/2 inch mark. It's actually the 1.5 inch mark. And just folding now. I've got one that turns out to be just a 1/2 a punch, but then as I fold you'll see they turn out to be whole punches. And then here we go. We've got 2 more of these to do. And the last one. Okay. And now we're finished with this fabulousness. I'm going to put my little knife away. Okay. Now we are left with some little bits that Crafty Hallett was talking about using, and I'm going to fiddle around with those too. I'm going to set those aside. So here's our project, and you can use sticky strip just for the process of using for the video today. I'm just going to do some quick double stick tape, and I'm just putting it on this little 1/2 inch tab that I made. That was one of the first score lines that we made, was giving us a little 1/2 inch tab that's going to be on the inside. And if you look really carefully, there's where the word up shows up from the Stampin' Up along the side of the designer series paper. And do you know I did this before? I need to actually, before I tape it together, fiddle around with the score lines that I made here. So pretend I didn't just tape it all up. I am going to just gently kind of squeeze together the ends so that the middle score line here comes up, and then I'm going to put it actually on my mat here, and it almost forms like a mountain. And then the other 2 score lines on either side, remember how we scored it 1 1/4, 1.5, and 1 3/4? So these little 1/4 inch edges here, what they're going to do is make the little part that's almost like an accordion. So again, I'm going to fold up at the 1.5 inch mark score line that we made, and then if you just pinch on a flat surface, you can get those other 2 score lines to work. And I kind of fold it toward me in a way. I have to be very careful of this one because this has the tape on it now. But it'll still work. There we go. Got it. Okay, so now the easiest way I found to do the adhering is just fold this little tab down like that, and then just fold your whole bit on top there and line up. You want to line up this edge as well as your cut and your fold, and then there you go. And then if you just kind of fold it back up again, you get a square, and then if you push the ends in, it starts to look like a cracker. Now we have this sweet silver ribbon, this very nice 1/8 inch silver ribbon. I guess this is a 1/4 inch. Anyway, nice skinny little silver ribbon, and that's what I use to make the bows. So before I would tie off the bows, I would tuck something like, gosh, you could put a little lip balm in here, maybe a tiny little tube of some yummy hand cream. You could put in some rolls of money if you wanted to, or Hershey Kisses, or other kinds of chocolate. There are those little Dove doodads. There are lots of little things you can hide in here. Of course, jewelry. You could wrap something small in tissue and then tuck the jewelry inside. There is a whole lot you can do with these. And then you just simply take your ribbon and either tie it off in a bow, as I did here, or in a knot here. And then you can just add a tag. Now this is cardstock that I used, just our regular crumb cake cardstock. And what you can do is go over it and add squares. If you go on Crafty Hallett's blog, she's got this lovely sample where she took a cardstock cracker and then put rectangles or squares of cardstock over to decorate. There are lots and lots of options for you. But this was just a quick video to show you how to make the basic cracker using the envelope punch board. Please check out my blog for all the measurements and information, and check out Crafty Hallett. Aside from listening to her lovely accent, you're going to love her videos. Thanks for watching.